Hello and welcome to the Idiot Book Nook, episode 62. My name is Blazewing. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
I am the reading dragon. My pronouns are she, her.
I should have gone use the bathroom. I'm sorry.
That would be Lady Punnet. Her pronouns are
She, her, and sometimes they, them. Today is a she, her kind of day.
go use the bathroom. And next up,
And I'm
Oh,
and I'm Kudushy.
we're starting off fantastically, ladies.
yep. And your
Woo.
pronouns?
Oh right, she, her, sprinkle, they, them. Most of the time, I just exist.
We are discussing today, and we want to thank you for dealing with our for kind of working with our format change here specifically for this book. We are doing the Prospero School of Magic, the Return of Merlin. This would be chapter 1 that we're doing. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do so at linktr.ee/idiotbooknook. That should be coming up in the chat for those of you that are here on Twitch. You can follow us Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. at Mountain Time, or you can follow us with a release every week. At this moment, I'm thinking we're doing maybe one, maybe 2 releases. Depends on how many episodes we get done, because these are fairly lengthy chapters. So bear with us while we figure that out specifically for this book.
Okay, I'm calm now. I'm good. Everything's
You're sure?
fine. I'm perfectly fine.
Breathe, breathe.
We just got through chapter 1, and in case you missed it, there's a bit.
Yep.
There's a bit.
Yep.
Towards the end.
So
I didn't register what I was reading until like halfway through.
You're good. We are actually discussing chapter 1 today, and this is a brand new book by A.P. Whitfield, who is actually joining us in our chat section today. So welcome to the author. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining us. We hope you have enjoyed our
Rendition.
our totally professional rendition of your story. 2 of our members actually have signed copies that they won in a draw from our lovely author. And we have some things that we want to talk about because this is a brand new book and we have all noticed things, and we would like to get together and talk with the author in person at some point as well. So we may end up trying to make that happen. So from my side of things, I'm a communications student majoring in journalism with a heavy background in anthropology. I have trained in communications, how to communicate with people, how to write, that sort of thing. All sorts of different types of writing, whether news articles, features. I've had kind of an introduction to screenwriting and fiction writing and whatnot. So I have a basic understanding of stuff like that. So I'm coming at this chapter specifically from a structural standpoint. And one of the first things that got to me is the punctuation. There's a lot of punctuation missing.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, that can be easily remedied, and I am taking notes as we go to remedy all of these issues, or to at least make notes on all of these issues that we have. I do find that the language is a little clunky. But again, that is totally you can remedy that fairly easily, just by changing around a few words here and there. You'd be surprised just how malleable words are some days.
Sure.
I did notice that a few places the tense flips back and forth between past and present.
I was going to point that out as well.
I wanted to ask our author, which tense did you mean? Did you mean you ran or you are running? Were you looking past or present tense?
In what part of the book?
Well, it should be consistent.
It should be consistent all throughout the book, unless
Or at least throughout each.
Unless you're doing a flashback or a flash forward.
It's
Unless
like,
it's
so
like
a good example is this book being told as in this is something that happened last year, or is this book being told as it's happening right now in the present?
Correct.
Okay.
Like a movie,
Yeah.
basically.
Were you looking hindsight, or are you telling it basically
real time.
real time?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of effect are you going for is what I'm looking for with that. And then, oh my god, tech works here.
Yeah, I love that.
I
Like,
love the fact that you're trying
I
to
love technology's working here.
the fact that you're
PowerPoints,
trying to
cell phones.
the fact that you're trying to blend tech and magic, I absolutely love it. It gives it a more modern feel instead of the old grungy, old school fantasy. you're trying to bring it into more the present, into present day is the feel that I'm getting from this, and I absolutely love that.
They learn like subject. Hold on, let me find the thing about all the subjects they can learn. Here we go.
Quite a few.
Basic living.
Yes.
Where was that class when we were in school?
Well, us it's included in social studies, but
What?
Economics, basic living, basic math, chemistry, biology, astrology, anatomy, geometry, algebra, playwriting, literature. Like, core studies, core subjects in school.
Stuff that there's some things that weren't even in my school.
AP Whitfield, thank you for the follow.
Yay!
So, I come back to my question. What tense were you looking to write this in? Now, were you looking past as in it already happened, or were you looking present as in you are telling it as it happens? What kind of effect are you looking to go for? That way I know how to go back and actually make my notes specifically for you.
Mm-hmm.
While we wait for,
if you're not too busy to respond to that.
While we're waiting for AP Whitfield to respond to that, what did you guys have to talk about for this chapter?
So
AP said it's frozen on her end.
Okay.
Oh,
that might be an on her end issue because it's working fine on my end.
Unless there's about to be another ad to play.
That could be that.
So, well, you discussed a lot about the writing field, and that's something that you're very good at because it's your field. I kind of want to talk about character descriptions and parallels because that's where I personally believe I shine. So first and foremost, we can all agree that Clara and Daniel are the reincarnation of Morgana and Merlin, right? Mm-hmm. We can agree on that?
Yeah, that's definitely getting there.
I'm getting that impression, yes.
Mm-hmm.
For Clara, I mean, it's kind of obvious who she's. I'm not going to say it's obvious, but that's kind of like an easy shoo-in. But for the other two boys, I wouldn't be so quick to put a label on who's who. Just because I know at the beginning it sounds like Romeo is just like some random jock piece of shit. But on the other hand, if you look at the way that she's interacting and how comfortable and familiar she seems around him, he definitely seems more like the guy you've been friends with forever, and you think that his coming onto you is just like his way of joking around, and she never takes it seriously. And it also seemed like she was very surprised by Daniel's advance towards her. And so it could just be like, like everyone, it's one of those, like everyone thought like her and Romeo would probably get together because they've been friends forever, or they always hang out or something. While Daniel is the popular guy that everybody loves, and why the hell would he look at me? Mm-hmm. I'm getting more of that vibe. I would say.
I kind of see Daniel as the reincarnation of Merlin, and then Romeo as the reincarnation of Arthur, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, personality-wise, I could see how that matches for sure.
Mm-hmm. I could see that happening as well. However, one thing I liked about the book is that it's right off the bat, like, says, oh, yeah, Morgana was Arthur's sibling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In other books, like in other retellings, it's like usually like this dirty secret, and it depends on what lore you follow, that Morgana is usually the half-sibling of Arthur because she is the bastard child of King Uther. Mm-hmm. But in this one, it's like, oh, no, they're siblings. They know they're siblings. Also,
I think AP, if I am correct, the fact that in this book it is stated and recognized that they are actually siblings kind of goes closer with the original lore of Arthurian legend.
Well, so, as I was...
AP, my question for you is... one of the issues that I had was the tense flipping back and forth. So were you looking for it this is mostly so I can make notes. Were you looking for it to be told as it's happening, or were you looking for it to be told kind of having already happened? What tense are you going for with this story? Past or present? Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, as I was saying, like, we didn't get much interaction between Arthur and Morgana in this. However, even just like from like the little interaction, I still got this like playful sibling banter, which is interesting for me because it gives me inklings that, unlike So most of us know Arthur and Morgana. Morgana stabs Arthur in the back because she wants to take the throne, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But typically that stems from her not being recognized as the princess.
AP actually says that they're step-siblings.
Yep.
Oh, they're step-siblings?
Yep. So we are on the right
So they're
track with the
step-siblings in the book. In her book.
Yeah.
Okay, that is good to know. So she's still recognized as the princess. So they're not half-siblings, they're step-siblings. Okay, in that case, there's still a chance Morgana will stab Arthur in the back then. Although, wait, she doesn't... Well, wait. No. Depending on the lore, though, and how it works, she wouldn't have a claim to the throne because she wouldn't be like the...
Don't be texting and driving!
What?
That's an NA.
Don't respond to us if you're driving, please. Like, we can wait until you get home, or you can send messages to Avonlea when you get home. We don't need you being in an accident, please.
Please don't be in an accident. Who will we discuss your book with?
Yeah.
I mean, we can discuss it with everyone else here, sure, but it's not discussing your book with you.
If you want, what we can also do is we can talk as a group about the potential, if you want, about having an actual discussion, bringing you in for some of our discussion portions, and we can sit here and talk back and forth with you if you're up for it.
Only if you're up for it. We know you have your own life. You're very busy. Not everyone can take time out of their lives to do this.
I think my editor did not catch a lot due to him being new at it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
Does your editor have any formal training, is my next question. But that can wait, because you are driving.
You can, yeah.
Well,
how about we save questions for her?
Yeah, we can.
We'll save questions for her when she says, hey, I'm out of my car.
There you go. That works.
That's a better idea. So another thing that is interesting for me is the fact, well, first and foremost, first page, Arthur and Merlin are sword fighting. Now, as we all know, Merlin was typically well known for being a sorcerer, the head sorcerer, the magical advisor.
The greatest of magi.
The greatest of magi. And basically, it's interesting in this because it could mean that either they've been friends for a while and it's often their sparring partners, or it could be inferred as Arthur is taking him out of his studies to basically be like, no, you've been inside too long, you're a pasty white boy, come on, you're gonna get some exercise. You can't sit around and read books all day, Merlin, you gotta have a social life.
Bloody
Merlin, touch some
Oh my
grass.
fucking god, get a life, school board.
Bloody bookworm.
Merlin, you've
Bloody
been in the woods
bookworm.
too long. Touch some grass.
Touch some grass. No, I'm allergic to grass, Arthur. You know this. Too bad.
Grass. Smacks him with the back of with the flat of the sword.
Yep.
So, if we continue with the theory that it's possible that Romeo is the reincarnation of King Arthur, because I had suspicions at first maybe Sebastian was.
Well, it could. And all right, go ahead.
Well, because of the whole, she has an older brother. Morgana had an older brother. Possibilities.
Well, the thing about tales like Merlin and King Arthur is there's so many renditions and so many reimaginings and so many retellings. I'm not sure at this point we know what the original lore actually was, unless we go back to the original source, which I don't have at the moment, and I don't know how easy it would be to get your hands on something like that.
That would be an interesting book to read, though.
I think that's La Mort d'Arthur. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
So the original source, there's technically a couple of variations of the original source depending on what region you're in.
I'm talking about the first in print, the first to be written.
Again, depending on what region you're in.
I'm taking all
the first one.
I'm talking about region. I'm taking all regions into account. The original source for me would be the first one that was published. And I don't know how easy it would be to get your hands on a copy of that. But there are so many retellings and reimaginings of King Arthur and Merlin and their exploits that it's all become an overall encompassing part of the lore. I guess different universes in this case, which is absolutely fascinating when literature is taken to that level.
Speaking of taking other literature into account, we have run across more biblical names in this one. which seems to be a running theme because Lilith is the mother of all demons.
Mm-hmm.
And Lilith is a young baby girl in this who's just 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
M.N. Darkfire has redeemed Bombs Away.
What's Bombs Away?
Ha.
Critter, I do believe that is you up.
Yep.
So we have a redemption on here specifically for Critter because Critter decided they wanted to do it. Critter takes these toxic waste candies. Super sour. Hazardously sour candies, as in you eat multiple of these and they can potentially make the inside of your mouth bleed. So Critter decided...
I have them on rewards on my own
Yep.
channel
Yep.
when, people can pay to watch me be in pain.
Yep. So Critter's Bombs Away was transferred over to this channel. M.N. Darkfire says, I see Burb. You do see Burb. Say hello, Grim. Oh. Fluffing up the wings.
Fluff up the wings.
Oh, we get a stretch.
Oh, big stretch.
Big stretch.
He just had a big nap.
Yep.
Oh, she's like, no, I'm not stretching for you guys. You don't deserve it.
Also, the first Arthurian legend kicked off in the early 12th century with Geoffrey of Monmouth's History of the King of Britain in 1138, which purported to describe the entire history of Britain from the day dot until about the 7th century. This is an article from December of 2016, theconversation.com.
Throw a link in our Discord.
All right, here goes.
Here goes Bombs Away! No.
Here we go.
Oh, honey.
It's green apple flavor.
Oh, no. Oh, honey.
Why?
You got this. I believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep sucking. Just keep sucking.
I mean, that was what was happening with
That's what she
Cornelia and Citrine, apparently, in the last chapter.
Argon. You mean Argon and Citrine?
It lasts so long.
I mean, something that lasted a
AP
while.
Whitfield did actually get back to us about that. It was supposed to be Carnelian.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Woo. Okay.
M.N. Darkfire says, Lady Punnet, give Lady Punnet boops for me.
Ooh. Okay.
Boop.
So-
I know that guy. He's from one of my D&D servers.
So, what else do we have for this book?
So, something else that's interesting is how, so far we've seen, so we know so like we were talking about earlier, technology and magic are like intertwined in this, which I love.
Yeah.
But another interesting thing about this is the fact that, so whereas most magical schools, they typically start after the age of 10, this one starts at the age of 8, and we have confirmed that it's a boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the little
American
girl was
one.
there. She was there bright and early. She was running through the hallways.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, I do know some schools typically do have, like, a boarding school function for, like, the younger kids.
Yeah.
So, my interest, though, is what kind of test did they put these kids through to find out, like, which one? Because one house is literally for, like, the daring and the bold. So, it's like, is this kind of like Divergent, where they put them in, like, a simulator and see how they get out of the box?
I mean, there's also it's magic. Maybe it's just like a.
It could
I don't
it
know.
literally could be a spell to see what maybe it's a spell that pulls a shape out of your head based on the way your brain's structured or how you would deal with situations or
I mean, there was
True.
one that was like, what was the
One
with
second.
the
I will bring
Grisha
up
and
the
stuff?
names.
It has like one where like they did like a blood test basically.
Mm-hmm.
so. Not gonna lie, I did get very heavy. Fun fact. Interesting. AP.
What?
AP
What?
says, "Fun fact: I was Morgana in a past life."
Fascinating.
Um,
So, what were you getting very heavy what?
I get very heavy Harry Potter inspired vibes at the beginning of the story.
Mm-hmm.
I get that too. I'm kind of also getting some slight... Harry Potter is definitely one of the ones because, let's face it, when you think of magical school,
Yep.
one of the first ones you think of is Harry Potter.
Yep.
But I could also potentially see, like, with how they're describing, like, especially how we're theorizing how the sorting goes, it could be similar to the Percy Jackson series where you're, like, acknowledged by your godly parent.
Yeah.
So it's less to do...
Sorry, go ahead.
It's less to do with, like, how your mind works and more, like, what you're best suited for, and sometimes that's down to, like, genes. Like, it already sounds like the whole Cameron family is in Socrates.
I'm in Darkfire's Redeemed Feed. Take a drink, take a bite to eat if you haven't already. I haven't actually read Percy Jackson yet, because so I don't have anything to go off of for reference with that. It is on our list.
I can loan you if you want.
No, it's on our list. Percy Jackson's on our list.
Cool, I have it.
I've never actually read it myself, so it'll be interesting to go through it the first time. We're going to hydrate during this unholy heat wave. Actually, our heat wave is broken here, believe it or not.
Lucky.
Yeah, our bubble burst on Monday.
It's not even noon yet, and it's already 90
Should I order bubble tea?
Yes.
Oh,
always.
So 90 degrees Fahrenheit for us American folk.
30 here.
30, well,
ish.
Getting up to like up mid 30s in Celsius.
Daddy's Love says magic follows bloodlines? ?
Yeah, that's true.
It very well could, although I'm getting that this is more the way you're, for this school specifically, I'm getting that this is more the way your brain is wired, how you innately react to situations and the type of personality that you have.
Sebastian is not in the same house as his siblings.
Oh!
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm going to take a guess here, I think he's in, like, that brave house. I got, like...
No, I think it says that he's, like...
He's a 10.
Head boy for whatever. I know it's
he's
not
a head boy for one of them.
Yeah, he's the superior. He's a superb boy for. Which one was it? It's in the book. Consult the book.
Is it Ulysses?
I think so.
Everyone collectively just breathe west, please. Push the cool weather to us in Cali.
Yes.
I will do my best. Like, let's see. Where is my rose apple?
What else did we have for this book?
There's vampires.
Yes.
And these vampires are a bit different because, well, there's something.
I wouldn't call it vampires because they're eating flesh as well.
Well, that's the thing. The vampire, speaking as one of the experts here in the chat. Sorry, just gonna, that depends on the lore. There are some vampires that do feast on flesh, like vampiric traits. Most vampires, however, feast on the blood, not specifically the flesh. The flesh is more of a zombie thing.
Ooh.
I've seen vampire lore that says anything solid matter will cause a vampire to throw up or to expel it.
Also, Sebastian, he is superb for Ulysses.
Okay.
Ulysses.
Okay. So, different house.
Yes.
Because,
So they are definitely something because they were able to stomach that, and they've obviously done it before, which means a repeat pattern.
I think the fact that they're all named after crystals is indicative of something like
involving the crystal that's in the thing for one.
Well, yeah, that. But I'm thinking more like earth. Like, what's the words? Damn it! Like, I don't want to say demon because that's the wrong word.
Elemental.
Yeah, like some sort of like
or primordial.
Like elemental. Yeah, primordial kind of creature. I think is more what I'm getting the vibe for.
So you're assuming, if I'm correct in following here, you think they subsist on the essence of the living in whatever form it comes in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as everyone's resident crystalholic, because as we all know, I love my crystal.
Yeah.
I had a thought. So citrine is known as the lucky stone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is known for bringing good fortune and good luck to those who wear it. However, another fact that it aids in digestion and mental clarity.
There's
digestion.
There's also the fact that Argon called her his sea goddess.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm thinking primordial forces.
So a sea citrine, maybe?
I don't think there is a sea citrine.
Can we look that up?
I don't even think citrine is found in the ocean.
It's not.
which is interesting.
Is argon found in the ocean?
Isn't argon a gas?
That's a good point. I think argon... Let's hold on. Good old Google, what is argon?
I'm pretty
Well,
sure
if he's
it's a
the
gas.
leader, he doesn't have to be. Argon is a chemical element found on the periodic table of elements. It is a noble gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, breathe.
It's a colorless, odorless gas that is totally inept in other substance.
So,
Argon.
Mhm.
Argon is often used when an inherent atmosphere is needed. It is used in this way for the production of titanium and other reactive elements.
So there's a chance, like what Critter was saying, they could be elementals.
Here's an interesting. Here, hold on a sec. Our Discord window froze. Here's an interesting thought that I just had. Citrine is generally a positive thing. It's generally something that helps to ward off negativity, brings good energy about. What if these are corrupted stones?
Oh.
That would inherently that would effectively bring in an automatic negative quality to them,
Wait.
and could theoretically explain why they are eating effectively people.
This is giving me major Sailor
Hold on.
Moon vibes because the Sailor Moon villains from first series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't write about what you don't know, and if AP is confirmed, they are elementals.
We're getting so many points today.
Yes!
I love the fact that we have somebody here who can actually confirm some of our theories.
Right.
Okay,
But don't confirm too much.
Don't like spoil
Move your tail.
plot or anything.
Move your tail.
But if you can get away in confirming theories without spoiling plot and whatnot, absolutely go for it.
Okay, so I just looked it up because I know some crystals, if you put them in water, is actually super toxic to humans.
Yes.
So I checked to see if citrine was for the whole like sea goddess thing, but apparently, if you drink citrine water, it drives out negativity and dark.
Ooh.
So maybe with like the very intense relationship Argon and citrine have, maybe he views her as something that drives away his negativity and darkness, which is why he refers to her as her sea goddess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It is also good for enhancing prosperity and fertility.
Well, no kidding.
So not even past chapter 1 and already smut. So I mean,
She gonna be smut.
The fact that I didn't realize what I was reading until I hit a certain point, though.
you're good.
Good on you.
You know what? That also tells you just how normalized smut has become in the nerd culture. Because a lot of us will just read and not realize what we're reading until we pass a certain point.
See,
You mean like the hardened things?
yeah.
Yes.
See, the reason why I was like shrinking into my chair is because I was reading a little bit ahead, seeing what I was going to have to read.
Yep.
In tandem with Dragon.
I mean, there was a thing where apparently some begging was involved.
Yeah.
So back to like the wholesome part of this book, though. We have Dwayne the Rock Johnson as a doctor. So if this ever becomes a movie, I will petition that Dwayne the Rock Johnson becomes the doctor.
I will second
I love
that.
the little sister.
The little sister is adorable. She's like your typical bratty little sister.
But not
I mean,
annoying.
that phrase just a different way because I just started playing BioShock for the first time ever.
Younger sister?
Younger sister
little
word.
sister.
But little sister is right now absolutely terrifying.
Okay.
Hey, little sister, what have you done?
Okay. Another thing. So Jenna.
Yes.
So first and foremost, something else that was interesting. Apparently, Citrine was trying something on Sebastian, but it wasn't working.
Yes. Which
So I think two theories. First theory, that if he is the reincarnation of Arthur, it is possible that the reincarnation of Arthur still has like some magical resistance that Merlin probably placed on him. Because let's face it, Merlin's like, you can't die. You got to be the king. You're the one and true king. Here's all your magical protection. Or two, apparently he was already thinking about someone. So I think Sebastian might be gay.
Interesting
That's not
theory.
well, because here's the thing: they kept going after the opposite sex, right?
Yep.
That's true.
So
that
if it's
seems
like
to be part of the glamour.
Either that or Sebastian has a natural immunity for some
natural
reason.
immunity, or Sebastian has a thing for Chester, which I'm totally shipping that now because yes.
I mean, to be fair, Sebastian gets shanked, and the first person he thinks about and the first person that he calls is Chester.
That's true. Not a family member, not a teacher.
And Chester just runs to him like, "Who hurt my baby?"
Yeah,
he was pissed.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility that maybe it relies heavily on a pheromone type thing, and Sebastian's just like, I can appreciate this. I don't want to eat it though.
Yeah. Not to mention the professor had to tell Chester to get the fuck out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Basically get out of the way. We have to take him to the hospital wing before he dies.
Reading Dragon, are you reading the smut again?
Yes,
I
totally.
just finished reading The Smut for the first time.
Daddy's apparently buying a new book.
Yeah, Daddy's Love says, looks like I'm buying a new book. Actually,
We have the link in the chat.
Are you in America or are you in Canada?
They're in America.
Toss the American link into the chat specifically just for ease.
Enjoy this, and you could get. Well, we have the first edition. I don't know what edition you'll be able to get, but this is ours. You can have this. It's
A
fine.
little possessive there, much.
Jeez.
It's mine.
We
Do you know how many?
fair and square.
Do you know how many books I have that are signed by the author, including this one? 2. Well, no, I have a few more, but that's because there's a local author who I buy from. Which, by the way, I should add her to the list too.
We can absolutely do that. As a matter of fact,
This is my first signed book.
matter of fact,
Nice.
You can't have this one. You can buy your own.
there's
Yeah,
a Google Forms link actually in the chat if you want to go add links to our potential suggestions. I will get that later now that I have my tablet up and running.
What were we talking about?
That message in the chat, there is actually the American link for this book, so that way you all can buy it.
Yes.
Also, AP, do not spoil it if it turns out they are gay. I want to find out and squeal for myself.
Absolutely. Is there anything
Just
else?
possible theory thrown out there.
Anything else that we have for this chapter?
So apparently the earthquake was. So here's the thing. Argon said that the last time he was sealed away, he caused an
He
earthquake.
was in the process of causing an earthquake. So what I picked up from that was that he was in the process of causing the earthquake for whatever reason, and they sealed him away in the middle of it. And then when he was unfrozen or unsealed, that earthquake basically picked up right where it left off.
But that
Yeah.
means that they would have had to be at least within, 50 kilometers, 50 miles for the school to feel it and have that much damage, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I get a feeling that they were sealed under the school.
Yeah, they appeared in the school.
Yeah.
The first
True.
site or spotting that we get of them, the first scene that we get with them is in the school. So they were either somewhere in the school or extremely close to it.
Who seals elementals away and decides, hey, let's build a school on top of this?
Oh, it's definitely one of those forgotten things. Though that or the castle was put on there on purpose as like a seal.
Yeah.
Alternatively, it could be like Ruby, where they had a hunt school above the ancient artifacts so the evil people couldn't get it because it was always protected by a bunch of huntsmen.
Not just that. Perhaps it could also be a thing where the school was put on top of that specific spot, so should these elementals rise again, they would have a first line of defense. We have all of these people in training and all of these magic users sitting right there to deal with this entire situation.
And no one has. In fact, the exact opposite is happening.
And then
Because of time, everybody forgot it was there for that.
Yep. And now it's just run of the mill and suddenly dead people all over the hallways.
Yay!
Speaking as somebody who is a vampire lifestyler, speaking as somebody who kind of lives that truth, not gonna lie, that first scene where they tore out the guy's throat, I was actually
Very good.
I was in love with that. That was really well done. Just out of nowhere, and then suddenly sinks teeth into throat and rips out. Like, got my attention.
Yeah, I saw you perk up like, what?
Would that be considered the gore, or is that considered vor?
No, that is definitely gore.
Because they eat,
both.
I would say a little bit of both because of how much they enjoyed their meal.
Yeah, it is definitely a little
war
bit of
is,
both.
I understand vor to be a very different thing.
Vor is the consummation of entire people. However, that doesn't mean technically in this aspect that would be the scene that was painted would technically be cannibalism.
Well, no, because they're elementals.
They're not humans,
But they're
so it's
giving
not
off
cannibalism.
the appearance of humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just like the long pig.
We'll get into your thing later.
You're okay. Just breathe.
Just take a moment.
Breathe.
Mm.
You'll be all right.
It's very different from what I understand.
We will discuss it later during break.
We were being a little PG. Don't
This
worry.
might actually be our last recording for today.
What?
Mm-hmm.
But we only did one chapter.
Sorry,
That's a
no.
long
It was a
chapter.
very long chapter, though.
And we
Which
got
is why
started
we're
late.
doing the discussion portion as a second episode instead of part of the last episode.
Unless we wanted to go for like another hour or so. How's everyone
Other things I
feeling?
have to get ready for today, such as ghost hunting.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You got your ghost hunting
I
thing.
formed a ghost hunting group, and we are going down to a cemetery tonight.
Also, AP, if you're still around, if it is all right to invite these lovely people that I am on this Twitch stream with to the Discord chat that you had invited me to for the chateau, please let me know, either in message or on here,
I mean,
depending on your availability.
bring us into the Discord server. We can talk in real time instead of just sitting here and waiting for you to type something out. We could actually sit here and have a discussion face to face.
Yeah.
Does anybody else?
That's okay.
Blaze, happy hunting. Thank you so much. Keep an eye on my socials. You can get it through that link there. We haven't got anything up yet, but we will be grabbing something, and I will actually be converting one of my old TikTok channels to a ghost hunting channel. So, does anybody else have anything for this chapter specifically? I know we've completely just torn this chapter apart.
Or
It got saucy.
It did.
I like
got
how.
so
Yeah.
saucy.
I think my closing note on this one is I like how it just throws you into the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like it explains the world as you go. It's not it's not like force fed down your throat.
Yep.
It doesn't treat us like we're stupid. It just like, this is the thing that's happening.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I do like it. It has a feel of almost like it was. There's more to it that came before, but one of the things recommended when you're writing, at least for new writers, is you write your story and then you cut off like the first chapter or two that you want, and that's where your story should start. Is where that is after that cut, right? This feels almost like that. Like there's a lot more to it, and I fucking love the fact that somebody's actually used that. I've never seen that used before in most of the books that I've read. So.
Everyone is like, all of the ladies are kind of on the shorter end, or at least on the at least on the mid-range taller end of 5 footers, and then all the males are 6 foot whatnots.
Yes, I do get a feeling of everyone's way too pretty and way too picture perfect.
There is that whole you know how
No one has cellulite, no one has wrinkles.
We'll find out.
Or the fact that that whole description, the height description thing, gave me old school anime vibes.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about. Anime protagonist moment when she ran out of her room and ran into Daniel. All she needed was a fucking piece of toast.
Yes. Yeah, she did.
I was getting very much like 1980s, 1990s shoujo anime vibes from that scene with the height difference and the brushing of the hair out of the face, and it was just it made my little preteen heart aflutter.
Fucking nerd.
So it was a little bit Uran.
Not
If anybody knows what I'm talking about.
A little bit, just a little bit. I was also getting like Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask
Yes.
Fucking nerd.
with their. You're a nerd too. You're reading
That's
this
what
with
we're
us.
talking about.
You get our references. You can't talk.
in this group. You fuck off.
Okay, since we're probably not going to continue, I will not order bubble tea, and I will save my money for next time. But it's just, I can see the different influences happening. I am questioning a little bit. Well, not really full on questioning the fact that she didn't have his number, but apparently he likes her enough to like, hey, can I court you? But you don't got her number.
No, they exchanged phone numbers.
Yeah, they exchanged numbers. They didn't have it before.
That's true.
See, that's why I got the feeling that this was very much like she never expected this from him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like it was the secret afar crush that like, oh, I'm going to dream, but obviously I'll never land him and I'll have to settle for Romeo.
I think what was happening was the fact that his dad is sending him away to do like schooling.
I'm also potentially from Romeo getting spoiled brat vibes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And somebody who doesn't know what it's like to be told no.
Oh, wait.
At the very least, he's extremely confident. Like, extremely.
To the point
I think he gives off the vibe of like, I know you're dating this person. I get it. However, we both know I'm the better choice, and eventually that's going to fall through, and you're just going to come to me like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
It was Tamaki from Northern High School Host Club.
Yes, he's a more okay. He's a less flamboyant Tamaki. He is like if Tamaki and
he is the way I was voicing him.
Okay, the way you were voicing him, the way I was picturing it, it would have been like if Tamaki and maybe a little bit of Kiyoya merged together.
Daddy's Love says, I love the group, and now I have to make this part of my every Wednesday morning routine. I so thrive in chaos.
Woohoo!
So.
Yay!
Yeah, no, like, Romeo is definitely Tamaki.
Yeah.
Daniel is definitely Kyoya. And then,
Counterpoint.
Lilith is Bunny.
Lilith is Bunny.
Lilith's Bunny. Clara, I wouldn't say is Haruhi. Like, there's a little bit of a Haruhi vibe, but no.
Okay, Clara is Haruhi and Renge combined.
Ooh, that's daring. That is a daring thing to say.
Well, think about it.
Think
about it. She has like the love struckness of Renge, but the studious nature of Haruhi.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
and she can actually acknowledge, hey, I have a crush on somebody. Oh, dang.
Renge when she's around Daniel, Haruhi when she's around Romeo.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, could Romeo possibly be the twins? That's slight overconfidence? Also, I would like to petition that Daniel is a mixture of, like, Mori-senpai and Kyoya?
Yeah.
Just like that
Careful there.
Nature. I know, but here's the issue. I love Mori-senpai. Mori-senpai was, like, my favorite host.
Jay is redeemed feed.
Ginger snap
sandwich. I'm gonna have my water.
I have ginger snaps.
I have my peanuts, but they're all the way over there.
Which one was Mori-senpai?
Mori-senpai was the tall, strong, silent type.
The one that just like picks up.
Mori. Yeah, Takashi.
Takashi.
Mm-hmm.
He made my heart aflutter. He was supposed to end up with Haruhi, not Tamaki. Tamaki got Haruhi because fans liked him more. I am very passionate. I am very passionate about Oran High School Host Club, okay?
So,
it's okay. I'm the same way if I start on Bleach. Don't even try.
See, I kind of thought about Haruhi with Kyoya.
See, I could see that too. But fun fact: the only time Haruhi got like blushy was with Takashi during the amusement park episode when he picked her up. Which, by the way, I want a man that can pick that.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. It's not a feeling I get to experience too often, though, because I'm tall.
Same, because I'm on the slightly heavier side.
So, getting slightly out of like the discussion of Oran High School Host Club and how we all just want to be lifted up by big, strong men.
Just strong men in general.
Strong men in general. Oh, what we were talking about?
That's the ADHD brain for you. It's like
that's it for us today, folks.
We got on this tangent because I reminded you that there were a whole bunch of heavy old school anime vibes.
Right. Okay.
So
this chapter off to a good start. Yes. We are hooked. We want to know what happens next.
I'm gonna have to hide the book. I'm gonna tell you guys where I hide it.
I'll tell you what.
So that way I forget it exists, so I don't end up reading more.
I'll tell you what. If you want to go ahead and read it, go ahead and read it. It'll help you be well prepared for when we do it on air, for when we read it on air.
Especially for like smut moments.
But just no spoilers.
Just don't give spoilers if you read ahead.
Unless we get to a part where we are about to get to a spoiler, then you could give us a warning.
Yep. The only spoiler I really want is when we're coming up on something smut related. That way we know that this is something that has to be left off air, unfortunately.
Maybe I'll just like flip through it and do quick, not fully read it, but if I see a word that I know is associated with the smut, I'll be like, nope.
By all means, go ahead and read it. I do actually like the premise of this story. I like the underlying themes of this story. I like the underlying... I like the story kind of behind the story, if that makes sense. My issues with this mainly come from a structural and substantive point. It comes from the structural and substantive side of things. I have issues with the grammar, with some of the punctuation, with the way things are worded. But other than that, I like the story.
Yeah, which is it's understandable, especially since this is a first edition copy.
Yep. And the editor is new. It is completely understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I will be making notes. I will probably be going through and working on my Kindle PDF copy. I do want to I don't know if AP is still kicking around. But having a working copy for a PDF that I can go in and actually save and then send back to with the edited notes would be really cool, because that means it's going to make my job a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
If you want,
please do not feel pressured to, but I'm willing to go over and make notes on an actual PDF copy and send my notes back to you for a revised copy. With that being said, have we discussed everything that we need to discuss?
I think so.
I ship Sebastian and Chester, and I ship Clara and Daniel because they're cute. And also, one has an Italian accent, and the other has a Scottish accent, and I have a thing for accents.
Well, Sebastian doesn't have an Italian accent.
No.
Oh.
Daniel has the Italian accent, and Chester has the Scottish accent.
Yeah.
And so... I mean, I wouldn't mind getting between Sebastian and Chester. Just saying. If they wanted to open up that relationship.
A little Paulina sandwich.
Little Paulina sandwich. I'd probably be the shortest one compared to them, because apparently they're both over 6 feet tall.
Yeah. I love how you're shipping those two and I voiced those two.
Yeah,
I know, it's hilarious.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the first instance that I've done shit without realizing I'm about to set someone of the same gender into a bisexual panic.
You were going into bisexual panic during a good portion of this book. Even before we reached the smut.
Not bisexual panic. I was like,
panic.
Just panic. Just panic.
Well, with that being said, we want to thank you for joining us for episode, I believe, 62 of the Idiot Book Nook and chapter 1 of Prospero School of Magic, The Return of Merlin, book
I think the
1.
book series is just The Return of Merlin.
There are 2 other books, I think, in this series.
From what I can see, there are 2 other books in the series.
So the next book would be Finding a Light in the Darkness of War, The Return of Merlin, book 2.
So, Daddy's Love, our formatting for this episode, for these last 2 episodes, were actually kind of weird. We are actually on our 2nd episode for today. I know we normally do our discussion at the end of the chapter. Our discussion for this book, or at least for this chapter, is an entire episode all of its own.
I mean, we were reading for almost over an hour and a half to 2 hours
which is
for the chapter.
Content, which is why I wanted to chop those up depending on how long the chapter goes, right?
Yeah.
So it's a slight switch to our format, and I think we might do that for the rest of this book depending on how long the chapters are. We'll take that on a case-by-case basis, but we want to thank you for kind of dealing with our format switch here. No, you're good. We get that. With that being said, thank you for joining us for episode 62.
Daddy's Love. Tell your dad I said hi. Because their dad came over. So.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. With that, thank you for joining us for episode 62 of the Idiot Book Nook and Chapter 1 and discussion of Chapter 1 of Prospero School of Magic by A.P. Whitfield, who has ever so graciously joined us in chat today. It has been a pleasure interacting with you. Loving the book so far. Loving the story. Can't wait to see where this goes. But for the Idiot Book Nook, I'm Blazewing.
I am the Reading Dragon.
I'm Lady Punnet.
And I'm Crittershy.
And we will see you for Chapter 2 and episode 63 of the Idiot Book Nook.